feels to chew 5 gum. New 5 gum. Stimulate your senses.
What is going on, guys? QKnightZ here, and today we're going to be covering the top 5 Forgotten Gobblegums in Black Ops 3 Zombies. And you might be saying, Quinn, what are you doing? Top 5s are so 2014, and you'd be right, but lately I've just been missing classic zombie videos, like actual videos. It seems like all you ever see nowadays in your sub box are 4-hour-long streams, and don't get me wrong, I love streaming. I think it definitely has its place in the zombies community. We absolutely destroyed the Solo Origins Easter egg earlier this week, but I missed the days when you could look forward to seeing an interesting zombie video in your sub box. Something that wouldn't take up a good portion of your day, something that you could watch quickly, enjoy, maybe learn something about zombies. So that's what I'm bringing you guys today. If you guys would be down for more classic zombie top 5s in the future, be sure to give that like button a little slap in the face to let me know that you would want more. Now, the Gobblegums we'll be discussing in this video have been forgotten not only by us, but by Treyarch themselves. Now, to clarify what these gumballs are, these are Gobblegums that are in the game, some as far back as game launch, but were never released with any of the DLC. I was doing a little research and reading about all of these Gobblegums that were scrapped from the final game, and I thought these would make for a very interesting top 5. Now, it's entirely possible that we see some of these gumballs through future release, or they may just be forever forgotten. So, let's get into this. So our number 5 spot goes to a Gobblegum named Private Eyes, and you can actually see this gumball in-game on the poster, where you can pick up your free Mega Gobblegum on Shadows of Evil. Now, this caused a lot of speculation in the community when the game first dropped, as many people noticed this and thought that there may be a way to unlock this gumball through a secret Easter egg. This Gobblegum had a pretty interesting effect, which would have had an icon similar to the grenade icon that would appear when any zombies were nearby. If any zombie was about to hit you, it would pop up, similar to, like I said, the grenade icon. When you throw down a grenade, an indicator appears just to let you know to move out of the way so you don't blow yourself up. What this really reminds me of is the iOS Zombies game. I don't know if any of you remember this or ever had the game on your phone, but when zombies came anywhere near you in this game, an image would basically pop up behind you so they couldn't sneak up on you and down you. Now, it's unknown why this gumball was scrapped. Chances are Treyarch decided against this one just because of how impractical it is. This gumball would really only cater to players that were very new to the game, and even then it probably wouldn't be too helpful. Especially in Black Ops 3 with the 3-hit system, I've never had the problem of a zombie sneaking up on me and downing me, at least in my experience with a 2-hit system, maybe on Origins, something like that. It might be a little more useful just to get yourself out of the way before it swipes you, but in Black Ops 3, getting insta-downed really isn't as much of a problem, especially from zombies. Either way, it's definitely a cool concept that unfortunately did not make it into the final game, and it comes in at number 5. Alright, so you guys remember that Gobblegum from DLC 3, Projectile Vomiting? The whimsical gumball that caused any zombies that were killed by explosive weapons to immediately vomit? Well, Treyarch had a way better version of that planned for the game, but scrapped it. Coming in at our number 4 spot, we have Seasickness, a Gobblegum that would cause any zombies you see to stop in their tracks and vomit. Now, while we don't have an official description for this gumball, the in-game image and the name make it very clear that this was simply an early version of projectile vomiting. This Gobblegum would have been awesome in my opinion, and I'm guessing that's why it was basically nerfed into projectile vomiting. I'm assuming this would have worked similarly to Fear in Headlights, where wherever you turn and look at the zombies, they would have to stop and do the vomiting animation, which would have been pretty cool in its own right, and would have just been very, very useful for slowing the zombies down for Easter egg steps. If you guys have ever tried doing the Garode Crovy Easter egg, having either the Undead Man Walking or the Fear in Headlights Gobblegum equipped helps a lot during multiple steps, but this Gobblegum would have had a similar effect, but would have been in the classic category rather than the Mega, so you would have unlimited uses of this. Treyarch most likely just decided that this one would have been a little too powerful for a classic gumball, and instead gave us the projectile vomiting Gobblegum, which, as a whimsical gumball, doesn't really have any practical uses, but the Seasickness, I can think of so many times when this would come in handy. The flag step on Shadows of Evil, just to slow down everything that's coming towards you, although I don't know how this would work on things like meatballs. I suppose it probably just wouldn't work at all, so maybe that wouldn't be the best idea, but for Garode Crovy especially, I can see a lot of uses. Regardless, Seasickness takes our number 4 spot. Now, moving down to the number 3 spot on our list is a gumball that I just cannot, for the life of me, figure out how it didn't make it into the final game. And this was just one that from the very beginning of the game, when Shadows of Evil and the Giant dropped with Black Ops 3, seemed like a obvious hole in the arsenal of gumballs. And this is Fire and Forget. And what this Gobblegum would have done, presumably, is grant the player with infinite ammo for a limited amount of time. As you can see, it's a purple gumball, so this means it would have been player activated, similarly to In Plain Sight or Alchemical Antithesis or Anywhere But Here, and would have let you fire your weapon and forget about it for however long the infinite ammo effect would have lasted, and I think this would have been a cool gumball just to have in the game. It definitely wouldn't have been overpowered in any way. I mean, Alchemical Antithesis essentially gives you infinite ammo for those 30 seconds it's activated anyways, and at the end of the day, you have max ammo after you get done with that as well, so infinite ammo would have basically been a less powerful version of Alchemical, which would have made it a little bit redundant, and that's the only reason I could see from them not putting it in the game, but it just seems like a fun one to have. I also believe there's an infinite ammo drop in Infinite Warfare Zombies, so being overpowered definitely wouldn't have been a problem in my mind. Honestly, not having an infinite ammo gumball in the game seems like a massive no-brainer to me. This would have been an awesome gumball to have in our classic arsenal, and would have been a fun one to bring to boss fights, or even to high rounds. This is a Gobblegum that definitely shouldn't have been left behind by Treyarch, and it comes in at number 3. The next two Gobblegums on our list are definitely a bit tougher to figure out the effect that they would have had, but our number 2 spot goes to a gumball named Board Games. And if you look at the in-game image for this gumball, you'll see a person playing chess across from what looks to be an artist painting easel. But if you look a little bit closer, you will notice that the easel has 2 boards on it, similar to the ones that you would see when rebuilding barriers on any zombie map. Now in my mind, there are only 2 possible effects that this gumball would have had. The first effect, and the one that is more likely than the other in my opinion, would have been when you go up to a barrier, you would rebuild all of the boards in one go. So instead of each board being rebuilt one by one, which takes a lot of time without speed cola, all of them would be repaired simultaneously whenever you held X or square or whatever console you are on, similar to the effect of the Carpenter drop, but with only one window at a time. Now the other effect this Gobblegum could have had would have been similar to the Steel Barrier permaperk from Black Ops 2 Zombies, and if any of you guys remember, this permaperk could be acquired by quickly killing a zombie behind a barricade after picking up a Carpenter drop. And what these barriers would do is essentially keep the zombies out twice as long, as each board would take the zombies 2 tries to rip off instead of the normal one. This was only ever really useful on transit while using the bus, but it was a cool feature nonetheless. If you guys have any ideas for what else board games could have been used for, feel free to let me know with a comment down below, but I have a feeling it would have been used for just rebuilding the barriers all at once. It seems with most gumballs in the game anyways, that the name of the gumball plus the image usually gives away its effect, or at least gives you a good idea of what it would do, and that effect is definitely the most obvious use. I think this gumball could have been very useful for either doing a spawn room challenge with friends, or possibly just getting some easy points from the barricades, and it takes our number 2 spot. Our number 1 spot goes to a gumball that is essentially straight out of Exo Zombies. Now this Gobblegum is called Power Trip, and I'm going to assume that this would have worked just like the security power-up that was on some of the maps from Advanced Warfare. If you guys don't remember, the security power-up would turn on all of the traps on the entire map for a short amount of time, and honestly, this is the only Gobblegum from this list that I can see why it was scrapped. You know, in Exo Zombies, as far as I'm aware, none of the traps insta-downed you. You know, if someone else were to pick up the power-up and you were standing near a trap, you would have time to get out of the way before you were killed. You know, some of the traps didn't hurt you at all, like the water trap on Carrier and other ones, but in Black Ops 3 Zombies, having a power-up like this wouldn't have worked very well. For instance, on Shadows of Evil, if someone were standing near one of the train traps or about to run through it without Jug, and you picked up the drop, they would have been insta-downed. On Horizon Drock, the door trap near double tap instantly downs you even if you have Juggernog. So you know, I think this Gobblegum would have been pretty useful for trolling people, basically a new EMP grenade, but that's about it. And you know, I can see why they decided not to follow through with this one. There's electric traps everywhere. People would get very angry about this Gobblegum and just completely forget about it. Like, I don't think anybody would ever use it. So I can see why Treyarch just kind of decided against this one. As for the rest of the Gobblegums on this list, I mean, in my mind, more content is better, even if some of them wouldn't be too useful. They'd still be nice to have in the game. But anyways, guys, that concludes today's top 5. If you did enjoy it and could slap that like button right in the face for me, that would be great. And if you made it to the very end of this video, I want you to go down in the comment section and comment your favorite Gobblegum from Black Ops 3 Zombies. For me, it's either the classic Perkaholic, or I also have a soft spot for Newtonian Negotiation, the whimsical Gobblegum that causes these zombies to fall straight up into the air instead of just tipping over like usual. It's a fun gumball to use, and it's really an interesting effect while you're doing high round gameplay. But anyways, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys with another video very soon.